flying by the second highest mountain in the world, K2, just as the dawn was coming up on the snow and we were in the middle of this dramatic secret trip. It's a memory I'll never forget.
50 years ago, on July 9, 1971, Winston Lord and Henry Kissinger sneaked onto a flight from Islamabad to Beijing. The secret visit paved the way for U.S. President Richard Nixon's historic trip to China 7 months later, which Lord described as one of the most important international developments in the past half a century.
Clearly, we were both very excited about the prospect of the trip. We could not be sure it would be successful because since our two countries had been in confrontation for 22 years, it took courage by the leaders on both sides to move ahead with this dramatic move. So it was unique that each side had strong incentives to reach out, even though it would take great courage to do so. And I might add that each side met its basic objectives. It was a classic, as the Chinese like to say, win-win situation.
In a well-orchestrated play, Kissinger feigned illness on July 8. Then Pakistani President Yahya Khan asked him to stay to recuperate. But Kissinger instead secretly went to China with Lord and two other officials in the next 2 days.
As we entered Chinese airspace, I was in the front of the plane, so I've always claimed to be the first American official into China in 22 years, and Dr. Kissinger has admitted this in his book.
Kissinger and Premier Zhou Enlai had tremendous talks during the 2-day visit. One of their agenda was to work out a communique about this trip, as well as announcing Nixon's visit next year.
We had to negotiate the communique announcing this secret trip and the fact that Nixon would go to China, and that was quite tense for a while. In fact, until the last few hours, we weren't sure how that was going to come out.
Knowing of President Nixon's expressed desire to visit the People's Republic of China, Premier Zhou Enlai, on behalf of the government of the People's Republic of China, has extended an invitation to President Nixon to visit China at an appropriate date before May 1972. President Nixon has accepted the invitation with pleasure.
4 months later, Lord and Kissinger made another visit to Beijing, followed by President Nixon's China trip in 1972, which was known as the week that changed the world. China and the United States officially established diplomatic relations on January 1, 1979. The international landscape has undergone profound changes since the trip.
Then and now you have to understand the other person's basic needs, its red lines, its true national interest, and where they really have great difficulty in moving on their position, and distinguish those issues from where it's difficult but some progress can be made, and distinguish those in turn from those with this real common interest today, like climate change or the pandemics or nuclear proliferation, where we can actually cooperate to try to stabilize the relationship at a time of great difficulty and tension. So those principles remain valid after 50 years, namely, put yourself in the other person's shoes. What do they need? And how can you reconcile that with what you need?